you're watching NDTV. The Sengol, or the scepter installed to the Speaker's chair in Lok Sabha, has emerged as the latest flashpoint this Parliament session as well, after opposition MPs questioned its relevance in a democracy and the BJP in turn accused them of disrespecting Indian culture. Now, Sengol, used by ancient Chola kings, is often seen as a marker of rule of righteousness and justice. It's something that was expected to guide a king. It has historical significance as well as it was seen as a symbol of a handover of power from the British to Indians, something that the Modi government recalled and brought back in the spotlight when the new parliament was inaugurated last year in a ceremonial affair in the presence of multiple Tamil seers or Adinams. But a lot of water has flowed under the bridge since then. A new Lok Sabha is in place with a renewed, resized opposition, a reduced BJP but a dominant NDA. Today the debate over Sengol was triggered by Samajwadi Party MP R.K. Chaudhry's letter to Speaker Om Birla. The MP from Mohanlalganj has said that Sengol must be replaced by a copy of the constitution. He's joining us for a chat right now. Thank you, Mr. Chaudhry, for speaking to NDTV. Sir, आपने कहा है कि संविधान से ही भारत की डेमोक्रेसी की पहचान है, तो ये बताइए कि सेंगोल की जगह संविधान, आप क्यों चाहते हैं कि सेंगोल की जगह संविधान आ जाए?
निश्चित तौर पे हमने तो एक चिट्ठी लिखी है और जब शपथ लिया, शपथ लेने के तुरंत बाद मैंने चिट्ठी दे दिया है स्पीकर को, प्रोटेम स्पीकर को। अब मैं तो शांत हो गया था, लेकिन कहाँ से उछल गया मैं जानता नहीं। अब अगर उछला भी तभी सही है, क्योंकि सेंगोल का मामला है और सेंगोल तमिल भाषा का शब्द है। उसका माने होता है राजदंड। राजदंड का सीधा मतलब होता है राजा की छड़ी या राजा डंडा। जब राजे रजवाड़े थे तो दरबार लगा फैसला करते थे और डंडा पटकते थे मेज पे। अब राजे रजवाड़े नहीं हैं। अब फैसला होता है आईपीसी है, सीआरपीसी है, एविडेंस है, कोर्ट है, कचहरी है। अब थोड़ा सुनवाई करके फैसला होता है। लेकिन जहाँ तक सेंगोल को संसद भवन रखने की बात है, भाई संसद भवन लोकतंत्र का एक पवित्र मंदिर है और मुझे लगता है कि जब सेंगोल तैयार हुआ था बहुत पहले, तो ये देश के पुरोहितों के सलाह पे तैयार हुआ था और लॉर्ड माउंटबेटन ने उसको लेके हैंडओवर कर दिया था उस समय प्रधानमंत्री पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू को। पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने बड़ा सम्मान के साथ उसको लिया और इलाहाबाद के संग्रहालय में रख दिया। सही जगह वही थी। पता नहीं क्या सूझा मोदी सरकार को, उन्होंने उसको उखाड़ा वहाँ से लाके रख दिया यहाँ लोकतंत्र के मंदिर में, संसद भवन में। तो हमारा कहना है कि अगर संविधान को बचाना है, लोकतंत्र बचाना है, तो निश्चित तौर पे संविधान को सही जगह रखना पड़ेगा। सही जगह है संसद भवन। तो संसद भवन से सेंगोल को हटा के उसके ओरिजिनल जगह पे जहाँ पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने रखा था वहाँ पहुँचाना चाहिए, सम्मान पहुँचाना चाहिए। और जिस स्थान पर सेंगोल लगा था या लगा है उसे उसकी जगह पे भारत का संविधान का एक कॉपी, एक प्रति विशालकाय उसका आकार हो, वहाँ स्थापित कर देना चाहिए कि देश चलेगा संविधान से और संसद चलेगा संविधान से। लोकतंत्र बचाना है तो सेंगोल को हटाना है।
ओके, बट पॉलिटिकली ये कहा जा रहा है मिस्टर चौधरी कि संविधान खतरे में है। ये जो नैरेटिव है, इससे समाजवादी पार्टी, आपकी पार्टी को काफी फायदा हुआ था इलेक्शंस चुनाव 2024 में, इसीलिए इस टॉपिक को आपने फिर से छेड़ा है।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं। देखो, सेंगोल किस लिए नहीं माना जाता? साउथ इंडिया का, नॉर्थ इंडिया का है। सेंगोल इसलिए है कि राजतंत्र का प्रतीक है, वो राजतंत्र प्रतीक है। हम कोई दक्षिण भारत के, उत्तर भारत के खिलाफ नहीं हैं। सेंगोल प्रतीक है राजदंड का, राजा के छड़ी का, राजा के डंडा का। तो उसको मुझे लगता है सही जगह उसको वही थी जहाँ पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने उसको रखा दिया था। यहाँ संसद भवन में, क्योंकि लोकतंत्र यहाँ से डील होता है, यहाँ ये लोकतंत्र का मंदिर है, इसलिए संविधान के प्रति ही यहाँ रखनी चाहिए। साथ सम्मान सेंगोल को निकाल के उसका सही जगह, उसको साथ सम्मान वहाँ से प्रस्तुत कर देना चाहिए, भेंट कर देना चाहिए।
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि
किसी को मानने की जरूरत नहीं है।
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि इससे साउथ इंडिया का विरोध नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसमें कुछ राजनीतिक फायदा होगा, इसीलिए क्या आप इस टॉपिक को छेड़ रहे हैं?
नहीं, इससे भी नहीं। हम कहीं प्रेरित नहीं है। जिस समय तैयारी चल रही थी सेंगोल को लाके संसद भवन रखने की, उसमें बड़ी क़यादत हुई थी और पेपर में निकलता था और मैंने उसको पढ़ा था, कटिंग रखे 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 के मैंने उस पर आर्टिकल लिखा और मैं तभी खराब लगता था कि भाई सेंगोल सही जगह पर रखा गया है, उसे संसद में नहीं रखना चाहिए। ये तभी तो मैंने मन बना लिया था, इस पर आर्टिकल लिखा था। आर्टिकल मेरे पास आज मौजूद है, पब्लिश करने के लिए नहीं था, लेकिन चूंकि मैं सांसद हो गया, हमारा फर्ज बनता है कि जो सही है उसको सही कहें, जो गलत उसको गलत कहें। हम सेंगोल सम्मान करते हैं, हम सेंगोल सम्मान करते हैं, दक्षिण भारत सम्मान करते हैं, लेकिन उसको अगर एक बार प्रधानमंत्री ने रखवा दिया था इलाहाबाद के संग्रहालय में, तो निश्चित रूप से अच्छा सम्मान रखा था, वहाँ रखा रहना चाहिए था। अगर मोदी जी ने उसको वहाँ से लाके यहाँ ट्रांसफ़र किया तो कोई मांग नहीं रहा था, कोई कह नहीं रहा था, ये तो अपने आप एक नाटक कर दिया। और ऐसा नाटक किया मोदी जी ने कि उस फंक्शन में जब सेंगोल यहाँ स्थापित करना था या नए संसद भवन का उद्घाटन करना था, तो मोदी जी ने ये ध्यान रखा कि उसमें राष्ट्रपति जी को इनवाइट नहीं किया। अगर राष्ट्रपति जी को इनवाइट कर लिए होते तो जिस तरह से मोदी जी लंबे लंबे सेंगोल सामने लेट गए, उसका कवरेज पूरी दुनिया ने किया, देखा, वो ना होता तो जितना सम्मान हुआ है उनका उतना सम्मान ना होता, निश्चित तौर पे राष्ट्रपति जी का होता। तो बड़ा ध्यान रखा उन्होंने, मोदी जी ने। तो नाटक उन्होंने किया, हमने नहीं किया। हम लोग खाली आपत्ति इस बात का है कि लोकतंत्र पे हमला हम नहीं होने देंगे।
Well, thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. हमसे जुड़ने के लिए. That was K. Chaudhary, Samajwadi Party MP, who was basically defending his claim, his ask that the Sengol in the new parliament be replaced by a copy of the constitution. Well, the Congress has also come forward to support the Samajwadi Party MP's assertions here. Joining us now is Congress MP from Tamil Nadu, Manikam Tagore. Thank you so much for your time, sir. My first question to you: many believe that the Sengol, which was used during the times of the Chola kings, actually has a deeper meaning to it. It was expected to guide the king on matters of justice and rule of law. Today, an SP MP is asking for the constitution to replace the Sengol in the parliament, and you have supported that. How do you see that, sir?
We need to understand that those who celebrate Sengol wants to use that as a tool, as if they are glorifying the Tamil pride, which is not that, which is clearly we know that there are 100 other things to celebrate Tamil. Tamil only doesn't mean that only Sengol is the only Tamil story. BJP and the RSS think tank has always been trying to build some kind of narrative in Tamil Nadu on Tamil culture and others, which they are unable to do. They are still struggling to find any kind of connection with Tamil Nadu, because they are not able to understand the DNA of Tamil Nadu. And to compare the Sengol with Chola Empire or the kingdom, all this is all BJP tried to do this kind of narrative, which is not working in Tamil Nadu. We are very clear that Sengol means on the king's rule. When a king rules, Sengol comes into picture. We are into a people's democracy. We believe in the people's verdict. And therefore, now there is no need for a Sengol here.
Okay. Mr. Tagore, this emphasis on constitutional monarchy by the opposition, constitutional democracy by the opposition party, is it also because you feel it has been of politically advantage for the opposition with the election of 2024 revolving around the constitution? Are you also raising this as you think this is a powerful counter to, or a unifier against the politics of the BJP?
It's a very important debate which is going on in this country, because we have not started it. It is the BJP friends like Jyoti Mirda, like the Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan, in the election time has started it, that how, what they are going to do with the 400 par story. They will change the constitution narrative came from BJP. Therefore, that part, 400 par and the change of constitution came from BJP only. We are only raising that constitution is the thing on which we should all travel, and we should respect constitution. We on vote and affirmation also, we take in the name of the constitution only. We all believe that constitution is the biggest thing for us as in the democratic structure. Therefore, this debate, monarchical mindset of the RSS think tank and the constitution is always two different directions. Therefore, again, it has come on their own only. They are only created, they are only fallen into it.
But sir, also what would your response be to this controversy? How do you see the response of BJP leaders such as Annamalai, who is the state president of the BJP, and the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who have called it an insult to Tamil Adinams, the seers who were honoured as part of the inauguration of the new parliament during the installation of the Sengol, and also they are saying that it is an insult to Tamil symbols.
There are two things you had asked it. One is our friend Annamalai's words. Annamalai's words, he don't stand by his words itself. In your program, I think, or somebody else's program, he told that if 25% of votes, if they are not getting it in Tamil Nadu, he will quit the position itself. Therefore, for him, words, what he say and what he does is different things. Therefore, let us not take it seriously. Yogi Adityanath ji, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, sudden love for Tamils is unknown. Why this kind of fact? The same BJP made Tamilians as the villains in Orissa elections. They made, the Home Minister made, their whole campaign was against Tamil businessmen, Tamil workers, Tamil engineers taking over their jobs in Odisha. They always use these kind of sentiments against other people. They only try to divide and rule. They try to create a narrative that it is against Tamils, it is against Odia, it is against Hindi, all these kind of narratives. We believe that these kind of dramas will never work in Tamil Nadu. And Yogi Adityanath's sudden love for Tamil is well known. He is the only guy who comes to Tamil Nadu and speaks in Hindi, which our people doesn't understand. The common people doesn't understand Hindi there in Tamil Nadu. Therefore, we will only say that BJP and RSS plans to take Sengol into politics in Tamil Nadu is not at all working. We all know that that is always rejected in the ground in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Manikam Tagore, for joining us on this discussion. Well, the BJP also responded sharply to the ongoing controversy around the Sengol. Earlier today, I spoke to Minister of State of INB and Parliamentary Affairs at the Centre, L. Murugan, and this is what he said. Sir, what do you think of the Samajwadi Party and the Congress saying that the Sengol or the scepter is not a symbol of constitutional democracy that India is?
First of all, I condemn this Samajwadi Party and the Samajwadi Party leaders and India Alliance partners. So they don't know about the Tamil culture. They don't know about the Tamil tradition. They don't know about the Tamil values. Sengol was kept in the parliament. So today also our president is going forward to the Sengol is going before our Prime President of India. So it is pride of Tamilian. Right, it is pride of Tamil people. So like it's in each and every Tamil's pride this is. So the SP, Samajwadi Party or India Alliance people, they are against the Tamil tradition, they are against the Tamil culture, they are against the Tamil value. I strongly condemn this instance.
Okay, that was L. Murugan, MOS at the Centre on the Sengol controversy. Also joining me now is S. Gurumurthy, editor of the Tughlaq magazine. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. The emergency is back in the spotlight now with the Prime Minister, President and Speaker talking about it, and the opposition too is marching with copies of the Constitution. You have witnessed the emergency. In fact, you sort of played a role in anti-emergency protests as well. How do you see the latest controversy of a Samajwadi Party MP saying that the Sengol needs to be replaced with the Constitution in the Parliament in the Lok Sabha? What does the Sengol that was used by Chola kings actually mean for a democracy like India?
What does Satyameva Jayate have to do with Indian democracy? What is Yato Dharmas Tato Jayaha? What is Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha? What has these things to do with Indian democracy constitution? This is the soul of the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is not a collection of words. If it were a collection of words, the Constitution that Mrs. Gandhi amended in 1976 and made it part of the Constitution on the 17th of December, where the Constitution could be amended by ordinary laws and it could not be questioned by court, that no one could approach the Supreme Court directly, that the state high courts cannot deal with central laws, that all organizations, including political parties, could be banned as unlawful associations, which would have led to the establishment of a single party rule. That would be the Constitution of India. What are these people talking about the Constitution without addressing what is its soul? So the soul of the Constitution did not originate on 26th January 1950. It has thousands of years of continuity. If Xi Jinping recalls 5,000-year Chinese culture and civilization, will we start on 26th January 1950? This is the extent of illiteracy that prevails in the Indian political discourse. The Congress is caught badly because this is the 50th anniversary of the emergency, and I am a personal participant in it in two ways. One, actually doing the underground movement, printing literature, supplying rations to people who are in jail, to the families. And as advisor to India, I joined almost at about the same time, advising the Indian Express and working with Goenka, fighting the cutting off electricity. And then Indian Express machinery, printing machinery was auctioned without the knowledge of Indian Express. They had come to remove. We had to go to the court to stay it. This is the excesses during the emergency. But what is more important is not the 21-year horror. Please understand. The media must understand, the country must understand, the political activists must understand, even the new crop of judges who have come in the court must understand that a permanent reconstitution of the Constitution was done on 17th December 1976 after assuring herself that it will be only an autocratic government and there will be only one party because she could ban all other parties. Mrs. Gandhi ordered elections. Advani, I received him in the Chennai railway station from Bangalore. In a small group, I asked him, Advaniji, what is our response? What he told me shook me. He said, Gurumurti ji, my problem is if we don't contest the elections, we are finished. Because that you guys can't even contest the elections against me. If we contest the elections and lose, which is more probable, then what all she said, including the 42nd Amendment, would be valid. Had that happened, had Janata Party not won, Mrs. Gandhi had won, what would be the constitution which Rahul Gandhi would be waving in the parliament today? Should the question not be posed to him, to his party? 30 years, this whole thing was done away with. Mrs. Gandhi came, she completely removed all the records about the emergency, including the Shaw Commission report. It is Ira Cheyenne who had one copy of the Shaw Commission report. He applied under the RTA Act for Shaw Commission report. The government said no copy is available. So we had to reprint it. And the title is, it is available on the net, you can go through it. Shaw Commission report, lost and regained. Because of that one man, because one copy was available. That was released in Chennai by Advani and Cho Ramaswamy in the year 2010. So one record is available about what happened during the emergency. The most important thing is they wanted to perpetuate the emergency.
Okay.
It was not a 21-month-year aura. It was to be permanent.
Right. But sir, the opposition is also saying that the emergency happened 49 years ago and there's no use of driving a car by constantly looking at the rearview mirror. How do you respond to that?
First of all, the opposition itself is caught on that. They said it is an undeclared emergency. So we have to say what is declared emergency, what would happen in a declared emergency. So let us compare the undeclared emergency and the declared emergency. That you have been talking about undeclared emergency for the last 3 years, gentlemen. Now juxtapose the two. So opposition is caught. They said there is no democracy in this country. Every third day the Supreme Court is slapping the central government. And the Supreme Court, by giving one judgment, if it gives one judgment in favor of the government, a huge show, or the court has succumbed. So two judgments have to go against the government. This is how institutions are being distorted by wrong public discourse. So I think now it is better, the whole thing comes up again.
Okay.
You try to suppress it for 30 years, now you enjoy it.
Right. But sir, coming back to the Sengol, there is a side that believes while it is pertinent to emphasize on constitutional values, it's also important to remember that there is a nation that existed before independence as well, and hence it is very important to appreciate symbols of ancient India. But the reality today, Mr. Gurumurthy, is also that we are in a constitutional democracy. It's a constitution that's holding us together as equals, and the past may also have painful reminders of origins of caste discrimination or even feudal atrocities. Is that why every time symbols of ancient India, come into the spotlight, just as the Sengol, they are often seen very subjectively?
If the word dharma is accepted as part of the constitutional soul of India, the Sengol represents what is known as dharma dhanda. In fact, in Ramayana, there is an episode. Rama asks Vasishta, am I the supreme? Vasishta says he touches Rama's head thrice with Sengol and says, this is supreme. Rule of law is supreme. Dharma is supreme. Dharma is equal to the Constitution of India, and anyone who is the president or prime minister must be reminded by a symbol that this is the tradition from Ashoka's days. This is the tradition which was adopted by none other than the Congress party for symbolizing the... In fact, they try to trivialize it. They try to question it. It is completely established now that this did happen and it had this significance, but you wanted to trivialize it by making it into a walking stick. There also you were caught. So now what letter this Chaudhary has written, let the Congress stand up and support it. They can't. So I can't say one MP writing is an opposition view. And now Congress has taken up this constitution, the emergency issue. How many parties are going to support it? Let us see. Misa Bharati's name still stands as testimony to what happened during the emergency. So I think the opposition cannot put its act together because each one of them is driven by extreme personal, party, caste, self-interest. Let them say these are the 4 points for which we are opposing Modi, and this is our alternative.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Gurumurthy. Always a pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you so much for joining us. Also joining us now is Salem Dharanidharan of the DMK and Anil Anthony of the BJP. Thank you so much for joining us. We have very less time to you. First, Dharanidharan, how do you see the Samajwadi Party actually talking about something which the DMK already said last year, that the Sengol is a symbol of the monarchs?
Firstly and foremost, it's appalling to me that we are still discussing about non-trivial issues when unemployment is on a record high, youths are not having job, inflation is high, the rural consumption has hit 3-decade high. We need to be speaking about development. I think the BJP still has not learned its lesson and wants to talk about untrivial things, wants to talk about history, emergency, etc., etc. I know emergency was wrong, but still it's done. They've apologized, we are forgiven, so on and so forth. Now let's talk about development. I think if Modi 1 and 2 was about Nehru, I think Modi 3 is going to be about Indira Gandhi and nothing about development. Having said it, we live in a democratic country. Sengol is called a spectre. Right? Even in UK, when the king took charge from the queen, then the spectre was transferred. But what is Sengol? Sengol means a good rule of a king. But we are currently a democratic country. That's point number 1. And secondly, Sengol signifies good rule. But here we have Kodungol. In Tamil, Kodungol means horrible rule. So it doesn't make sense. And thirdly, the Sengol which was placed in the new parliament has depiction of has a religious connotation to it. We live in a secular country. How can you have something in the parliament that has a specific religious connotation to it? And also in a democracy, what is supreme is the constitution. And that, which is why we're insisting that we need to have the constitution of India and not the spectre, which is the Sengol.
Okay.
And that I think it is very clear. In fact, you know what, when the Sengol was kept in the parliament on the day one, minister made a tweet saying the Sengol is already bent.
Okay.
Sengol is
let
already
me take Anil Anthony's comment to that. Anil, what would you have to say to that? Does the Sengol have a religious connotation to it, and is that how we see the Sengol?
Thank you, Vasudha. The last few days, it's only 3 days since the parliament session has started. And in this 3 days, already we have seen that the opposition, the India Alliance, the Congress Party, the Samajwadi Party, the first 3 days itself, they have showed all the disregard they have for democratic practices, our democratic values, the manner many of them were opposed to the resolution of the emergency. And today there is an opposition to the Sengol also. Unlike what many of the eminent members in our opposition think, the Sengol is not just some kingly spectre that is taken around by the king to show his power and authority. It has a lot of deep-rooted meaning that is entwined in our civilisational country. Alongside, again, I heard my esteemed panelists say that there is less focus on development, etc. The last 10 years, India had seen unprecedented growth under the leadership of our Prime Minister. And again, we have a very clear vision to transform ourselves into a fully developed country by 2047.
Right.
But alongside this unprecedented growth, we, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the NDA, also recognizes the fact that we are a civilisational country. We are a country with deep-rooted civilisational culture and ethos. And we are also reclaiming that. So that is something which we are proudly doing as a coalition and as a government. Now let me come to the Sengol. This Sengol. So unlike what many in the opposition believe, this is not just some scepter that is shown around by the king. It has a lot of deep-rooted meaning. There is a long...
So interpretations differ. I'm sorry, I'm running short of time. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. So clearly interpretations of symbols also differ, as does politics, depending on whose side, who's on. That's all we have for you on this show.